Welcome back to another video. Not doing a daily vlog today because I don't really got much going on. But I thought I'd still get a video out there. I'm gonna do a little 2024 recap. I'm gonna go over some of my favorite things from 2024 because it was a great year. We're gonna start with my top 3 trips from last year. Honorable mention goes to this road trip my dad, my brother, and I went on in the summer. We drove cross country to Indiana where I got a bunch of family, so that was fun to see them because we don't get out there too often. But then on the way back, we stopped in Kansas City. My first time in Kansas City. We had some really good barbecue in Kansas City. We were there to watch the RSL game versus Sporting Kansas City. As you know, I'm a big Real Salt Lake fan. But yeah, it was fun. RSL got the win, so that made the trip better. But that's my honorable mention. Number 3, I'm gonna go with a recent trip that I went on for fall break last October. We went to San Luis Obispo, started the trip down there with our good friend Buddy. Then we headed up the coast to San Jose. Watched a Real Salt Lake game there as well, and they caught a dub. But yeah, then we ended up in San Francisco. As you know, San Francisco is my favorite city in the States, so it was good to go there with a few buddies of mine. Got a picture from there. There's a few more from that trip. Anyway, that's in my number 3 spot. Number 2 had to be Paris last March for spring break. I went with a business school program at the U. Got to go with some of my best friends, so it was super fun. We got to bum around Paris, learn a few things about some companies out there, and had some lectures, but it was mostly just fun. Went to Versailles. Really good trip. There's a vlog for that if you haven't checked that out, but yeah, that was super fun. But my number 1 trip, and you can argue if this was a trip or not because I was there for a whole month, but Amsterdam. I did a study abroad in Amsterdam. I have a few videos out from there. But that trip, I went to Belgium as well to visit Eloise and her family over there. It was super fun. I did not know much about Amsterdam other than they had canals. But yeah, I learned a lot. When you go to a place for a month, you definitely get to learn a lot more about the city than you would in like 10 days. So that's why it's at my number 1 spot. Highly recommend going to Amsterdam and Belgium if you've never been there before. All right. As you know, I love shoes. So we're gonna go over my top 3 favorite shoes from last year. Honorable mention is these KD6s. One of my favorite basketball shoe models ever. So I only wore these for basketball, that's why it's an honorable mention, but it's in the Thunder colorway. Love these shoes. In my number 3 spot, we got the Teddy Santis New Balance 990 V3. Super comfortable walking shoe. Brought these on my study abroad, so it's number 3 spot. Number 2, we got a Salomon. I purchased these when I was in Paris in March at Kith. XT4s are one of my favorite models of Salomon. My number 1 shoe of 2024 though has to be these triple black Salomon ACS Pros. I found these at 2nd Street. It's like a secondhand store in a lot of big cities. I got some in SF, New York. So I got these in New York actually in 2023, but I wore these probably the most out of all of my shoes last year. They go with everything. They're a chunkier silhouette. I don't know. Number 1 shoe though. Alright, for my next category, we're gonna go over some albums. To make it on this list, it had to have come out in 2024, so here we go. Honorable mention is Heartstone Psycho by Don Toliver. I know that name sounds pretty aggressive, and some of the music is pretty intense, but I was fortunate enough to go to Don Toliver's concert with some buddies. Number 3 is GNX by Kendrick Lamar. Thought this was a very good album. It came out later in the year, but I definitely have played it a lot in the last few months. At number 2, we got 14 Minutes by Dominic Fike. It's not like the most complete album because the whole album is 14 minutes long as the title, but it's got 8 songs. I love Dominic Fike. Yeah, Dominic Fike is great. If you haven't listened to Dominic Fike, I'd highly recommend. And then my number 1 spot is Biba Doobie's This Is How Tomorrow Moves album. Very good album. Got to see Biba Doobie in concert too with Eloise and some friends. Biba Doobie's great. Very chill music. And yeah, if you haven't listened to Biba Doobie, I'd highly recommend checking her out. Great album. Last category for my favorite things of 2024 is soccer jerseys. If you know me, I like to rep soccer jerseys and collect them. So we're gonna go over my top 3 with an honorable mention. Honorable mention, the Netherlands kit from this year's Euros. I got it right before my trip to Amsterdam and was able to wear it the day they played England in the semi-final for the Euros. It's orange, so it's a little bit harder to wear, but I think I just love the Netherlands so much, so that's why it's my honorable mention. At number 3, we've got a 2010 RSL kit with the MLS Cup badge. This is a year after they won the chip, with Luis Gil on the back. Fun fact, Eloise found that at a Savers for a steal. So Savers is just a thrift store. Very nice find. So at my number 2 spot, we got the 2006-2007 Germany kit in the red and black colorway. Got this at a jersey store in Brussels, Belgium. Got some German roots, so super glad to find that jersey. And at the number 1 spot, we've got RSL's home kit with the new sponsor, with the mountains. But it is game worn by Emeka Eneli. There's the signature. Fun story. I actually met Eneli at the game that I went to in San Jose. Asked for his jersey. He said he was giving it to one of his friends that was there. And he said he'd find me at the next home game. And sure enough, he found me. Blessed me with the jersey, signed it. If you know me, my brother, and my friend Ethan, we run an RSL podcast. So definitely want to get that hung up in the studio as soon as possible. But that's the number 1 jersey of the year. Anyway, that's going to wrap up this little 2024 recap video. Thanks for watching. Let's wake up a little bit, and we'll see you tomorrow.